It's not Maine, it's the other one. Try this one.
I think you need to mute
There
everybody
you
too.
go. All
There you
right.
are.
Welcome, everybody. We made it. I know it's been like 16 months, 17 months. Welcome to our July meeting. I had so many things on my mind the last week, I never even made an agenda or brought it today. So I'm flying by my what I should be covering here as we go through. So I won't be doing a treasury report because I don't remember what we have around 7,500, something like Dave says in our treasurer's report, in our treasurer account right now. So there's our treasurer's report, about 7,500. Moving on down, new members. Yes, Jeff. Yeah. Okay. Before the pandemic started, I believe we had about $12,000 in our account. Do you remember, Dave, what we had when we started? 11 or 12,000. We started out by buying this laptop and these cameras so we could do remote demonstrations at people's shops and stream. So we've been streaming all this time. So that was the first chunk out of our account. Then we've been buying lots of professional wood turners at about $400 a shot. So that's just been whittling down our checking account for the last 16 months. And before our pandemic, I would have people every once in a while ask me, what are you guys going to do with all this money? And my answer always was, well, someday we might have our own building and we're going to need money to do that. Well, now I can say we need that money in case of emergency because we burned through about $3,000 to get through this past 18 months. And thank God we had done that because other groups were not so fortunate. I've seen on AAW, there's been a few groups that have just closed the doors and couldn't continue on. Hopefully now that they're getting to the end of the pandemic in their areas, they can open the doors and start having meetings again. But thank God we had money. That's why we have a savings account, and now we're going to be trying to build that back up for other emergencies. So that's that with where our money's gone and what we have left. New members. How many new members we have here today? I see we have 3 of them here. We welcome you. I forgot your name already. Gary. I talked to Gary. He just retired. He's going to think about me doing some wood turning. So it's a really cheap hobby. You'll be glad you grabbed it. Yeah. Yeah. So carve out a lot of room for wood. And then wood. Nathan. Yep. You're a new turner, right? Okay. So welcome aboard. And then back here we have. Oh, okay. So Ken dragged you on down here from the Woodcraft store. All right. Well, good. Great. And yeah. So welcome all of our new members. Right now, for new members, our membership is prorated at $20. For old members, you guys got to pay the full rate. If you didn't pay yet this year, you got to pay the full $25. So so we welcome all of our new members. We have some of the amenities we have for members is the first thing we have is mentors. How many mentors are in the room? I'm a mentor. We're scattered all around the area. So if you're new and you're looking for someone to work with you one-on-one, we're happy to have somebody come out to our shop for a couple hours and sit down and go through whatever you're having problems with. You don't have to be new. I have seasoned workers, wood turners come to my garage all the time and my shop, and I work with them or they watch what I'm doing, and so we're there for that. That's a big benefit. That's a huge benefit for anybody new or even anybody who's seasoned. You're having problems with something, you can get a hold of one of us. Yes, Jeff. The question is, how many people in our group, hey, can you get the room there? Have used a mentor in their shop, So there we have a few hands going up. Yeah, we have people, they're happy to they're fine with calling us and coming on out. Now that the pandemic's over and things aren't so crazy, hey, come on in, have a seat. Is that show and tell? You can sit down the table here, and then don't go that way. Go that way. And so that's one of our benefits for new members. We also have a sharpening station out back. So if you don't have a sharpening system, it's really important when you're a new wood turner. You can bring your tools in here, and we'll hook you up with somebody who will be happy to show you how it all works and help you get your tools all sharpened. We also have a library back there in our back room up there with all kinds of DVDs and books. I don't see our librarian here, but if you want to check out a book, well, it's been John. Can't think of his last name. No, not John Barron's, older guy. Anyways, he's not here. He just kind of assumed it one day when nobody was here. Somewhere it's written down who our librarian is, and that person I don't even know if is a member anymore. So, yeah, Dave Miller is our librarian, but he's had some weather, or he's been under the weather and stuff. So, yeah. It's just like a regular library. There's an index thing there where you can pull open up the book or whatever you get, and there's an index card in there. You can just write your name on it, put it in the index box, and we know where it went, and we can keep track of it that way. So anyways, there's a whole library back there, plus supplies. Is our supplies room officially open? Yeah. Okay. If you want supplies, find Ken, or if Steve's back there, he'd probably take your money. But if we do take money on that, we want to write down what people took so we can adjust our inventory online. So eventually we would like to have our square here doing supplies, but our supply person also is not with us today. Roger, I don't know where he's at, but we'll eventually get him back and maybe get him on board with the square account. So anyways, those are some of the benefits of being a member in this guild. So welcome all new members. Let's see, I'm going through my head what we have to talk about here. We are going to do a raffle. So on the break, you can buy raffle tickets from Tom, and we will raffle all that stuff off on the break before we go to our demonstration. Our demonstration today will be Dave Curley talking about his process for doing his weaved bowls. So we're looking forward to that. Is there any other stuff that I'm going through? I know we have like that old lathe back there we're going to get rid of. That's on my list of stuff. We picked up a Craftsman lathe during the pandemic that we haven't decided what to do with yet. But if you see it back there and you really think you want it, yeah, it's probably yours. So, yeah, it's vintage. So, but it works. We turned it on. So. So if you're interested, it's sitting back there in the room on the table. It's got some tools with it, some old tools, and it's an old Craftsman lathe. So it does not. No, it is a pulley drive, and I think it has like 7 positions. So I don't remember what the slowest speed was. That's the biggest thing with these old lathes is the slowest speed is 700 RPMs. When you have that, you don't realize how bad that is until you get a lathe that goes down to 100. Then you realize, like, oh man, I sure needed that. So anyways, that's back there. We're working on a legacy program. Pete's working on that for the guild, where if you want to donate your shop or some of your tools and stuff to the guild upon your leaving this earth. We're setting up something on that vein, and then plus also something where you could have us sell your stuff too if you wanted somebody to come in upon your passing and help out your whoever survivor is with disposing of stuff. So anyways, we're working on a program with that. That's still in the wings, and Pete's working on it. There's Arizona Woodturners has that up and going, and it's been working very well for them, and it seems to be very well for everybody else. Jeff? Yeah, like Jeff was just saying, that's how this club got started. Ron Den Broder was local wood turner, had a lathe, and Jeff was a friend of his, and Jeff talked him into donating it to start this club. He donated the lathe, and Ted Lubbers bought it for, I don't know, $2,400 or something, and that was how this club became in existence, was based on something like that. So, and that's helped us with building our coffers up too. Every once in a while, we'll have somebody pass, and like Ted left us that same lathe again. So that has gone on to do very well for us, and I know I personally have this guild in my will that I'll be donating my entire shop. So yeah, so that's going on, and that's something that's going to help propel this guild into the future. I don't know if there's anything else. Can anybody else think of anything that I've missed here that we need to discuss? We did vote to, our guild did, if you didn't see it in our newsletter, that we are going to raise our dues $10 at the end of this year for year 2021. We're still the cheapest, or 2022, it's 21 already. I lost a year somewhere. I don't know how. Somehow I lost a year. But it's, so anyways, we voted to raise it. We're still the cheapest guild, I think, in America. I don't think there's another guild that's less than $50. So anyways, we feel we're forced to. We need to build our coffers back up and get ready to buy that building someday. Someday we're going to need a place. Because you know what? I don't know if you realize when you came down the road, the last time you came down that road, all them businesses weren't up here south of us. This area is booming. They redid this road, made it really nice, and I think it's only a matter of time before somebody comes in and whoever owns this place makes them an offer they can't refuse to tear this down and put in a brewery. So we're, huh? That would be great if we could get a clause that we're permanent members. But I'm afraid that probably is not going to happen. So we're always in the lookout for another location, that can house us safely. Right now, this is almost full, and we don't even have 50 people in here probably. Were you counting it, Dave, earlier? Dave, we're 33? Yeah, so we did have 58 in here once, and it was packed. Oh, yeah, festival. You got to come up here and use the mic there, Ken. Come on up, get in front of the camera so people online, hey, people online want to see you. So we'll let you in the back door, Ken. You're yeah.
Okay. Festival
Mic number
of the
A.
Arts, of course, went virtual or partially virtual this spring. But what they are going to do is a artisan sale with a little bit of a mini festival. My understanding is I think it's the third weekend of September. In the past, the guild has always participated in that. We will not participate as a guild anymore, correct?
At least not this year.
This year, okay. So it's been kind of brought up with a few of members that still want to do this. So what we need to know is if there is anybody who wants to basically buy a table space, looks like we should still be able to have a 10 by 20 display like we've always had. But it will not be done through the guild, it will be done individually. But what we need to know, there's some deadlines coming up that we want to know who is involved or who wants to get involved, participate in any way. We're going to be working out some numbers of what it's going to cost. I think we're $600 as a group right up front. So it's going to be very important that we put this together really quick. Because like I said, there's deadlines coming up, and I've sent out an email already this morning to make sure that the space and everything is like they said. Now, a lot of this is still undecided. The last email that I was forwarded from the festival committee was they're going to be doing this the opening weekend of Art Prize. So there should be a lot of traffic downtown. They are going to do it in the same spot they used before, over next to Calder Plaza. Now, that's great, but that's not in the middle of Art Prize. Art Prize goes a little bit further west. So, it's gonna kind of be a crapshoot as far as traffic goes. My understanding is they're supposed to have some type of entertainment stage over there. So if they do that, it should be a pretty good draw. The last time I was down to Art Prize versus Festival, there's probably 2 or 3 times more people down there in the downtown area. So, again, we're gonna be working on this really quick, but today we do need to know who wants to get involved, so we can put the final numbers together and let everybody know where we stand. Anything else? So far, there's 3 people. We have 3 people, yeah. So, do you remember what the rough numbers were that you were working out with last year? $40 a foot or a 3-foot piece or something?
I think I divided each table into 3 sections, each 6-foot table, and it was $22 a section, something like that.
Okay,
Something like that. And then the middle tables were a little smaller, because we're like,
right,
and one of those we have to reserve for the cash register, but
right.
yeah,
You know,
I did the math on it.
yeah, it really wouldn't be, that hard to get involved at not that much money. So let me know, me or Tom. We'd like to get that list going, and if there's anybody out there in virtual land too, send us a text or an email or something like that to either myself or Tom, so we know. Okay, that's all I have for now. We'll keep in touch.
Okay. Yeah, with festival, John, did you have something?
Yeah, just going back to the raise, part of that raise is just not saving for a building. It's we want to continue having the demonstrations that we've had. So this year we were fortunate with the IRDs, and we had quite a few. Next year, Joe and I would like to continue that and have, maybe 6 of them, but also bring in a couple professionals to do classes here. So the raise is also to cover that, not just to put it in for a new building.
Right, I forgot. We want to keep doing, before we hardly ever did professional turners.
Right.
And we still want to keep that going at a couple a year. So this is going to help us do that too. So we'll almost need that just to cover 2 professionals a year, that $10. So, what was I going to say? Oh, on with the festival. It's a great place if you've been making stuff and you think you want to, start selling it, but you don't really know how or don't know how to price your stuff and things like that. This is a great way to get involved. You can buy just 1 or 2 sections for, $20 or $40, which is pretty cheap. And because otherwise, even a cheap show that they have at libraries and stuff will cost you $50. And they don't sell high-end stuff like we would more apt to sell down at festivals. So, it was kind of how I got my feet wet doing sales and found out what people liked. And it's a lot of fun to be down there. For me, there's nothing I enjoy more than talking to somebody who's interested in my stuff, who wants to know, how did you make that? That's the first thing they always say. How the heck did you do that? So it's a great place. I really, there's nothing I enjoy more than talking with a total stranger about wood turning, and we pick up members that way. We normally would have brochures on the table that we give people who are interested, and they come on down. So if you're thinking about doing sales, if you got stuff you've been making, and you're trying to figure out what I'm going to do all this stuff, my house is full. then this is a great place to get your feet wet with doing some sales. So, okay, so that's festival. Is there anything else we need to talk about before we go into show and tell?
Hey Doug, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Bruce. What do you got?
Before you go into show and tell, that handheld mic was doing 2 things. It was cutting out and it needs to be turned up.
Okay. Well, those are really directional mics, and the way he was holding it, I think we're going to try and use this little mic because this is omnidirectional, and we just have to have it close to whoever's talking, and it should pick it up. So that'll be I was going to walk over to hold it in front of John when he was talking to see how well it worked. And that's Demon, and it's probably muted right now. You see the mute button? Yeah, so I'm not going to turn it on because I got this one going. So anyways, we're going to have you come up. One of us will stand here and try to hold this mic in front of you, and then we'll line up on the side here. Are we going to do a raffle ticket for everybody who does show and tell? Okay.
Do President's Challenge first or during it or what?
We can do the President's Challenge first, and then we will do show and tell. So let's do the President's Challenge. We have one President's Challenge on there that Doug Scharf sent in. So if you go to picks, bottom right, hit that one, and then you can hit President's Challenge. And there's our one that was sent in by Doug Scharf. Or Doug, are you online? Scarf, are you online?
Yes, I am.
Tell us about your piece.
Wasn't the President's Challenge supposed to be Pepper Mills?
No, that was last month. This month it was Burroughs. And I thought that looked like a burl, so I put you in the President's Challenge there.
It is a burl. It is a ambrosia maple burl.
So what kind of finish you have on there?
That's poly.
Okay. Bruce, you need, or I guess I can say it. Everybody online, if you have President's Challenge, raise your hand. Let Bruce know so he can spotlight people and move through the list there.
Yeah.
And then if you have a President's Challenge, you're in the room, come on up here and get in line. And we'll go through and you can put your President's Challenge on our rotating table. So, okay, so that's Doug's piece. Do we have anybody else online, Bruce?
No, not right now.
Okay. Yeah, how tall is that piece, Doug? Doug Scharf? Scarf?
It's about 14 inches.
Oh, all right, that's a good size burl.
That's a big
All
one.
right, so coming through the room here, let me get this on, and we'll go back to top maybe. How about Maine? It's going to be Maine. Maine. So, oops.
This is a red gum burl out of Australia. It's not quite done yet. I'm going to flame the edges black, and I haven't got a torch. I've got to buy one yet. And, you know, our challenge was, we had last month Cindy Drosta did the burl with the edges and stuff and talked about equalizing it out and stuff. That's what this is. It's open dish like she did, and
So you've got to finish on that?
not yet, no finish. That's just raw wood.
For me, that's like the perfect burl. All right, what kind was it?
That's a red gum out of Australia.
So this is actually just a, think oak burl. I'm not sure. Oh, I'm sorry. So this is just an oak burl. I'm not sure what it is, but that was I tried to make the challenge. So that's the best that I've got.
I gotta use two hands for this. It's heavy. This technically is not a burl, but it was the tree's attempt to recover from a lost limb. So I had an open center, and it's kind of hard to put on a lathe with an open center. So what I did was took another piece of maple and somehow got the surfaces to match and glued it together. Like some of my other pieces, they do tend to burn well. Since this doesn't float, it may be a boat anchor. I don't know. I've had time to put a couple layers of polyurethane on it, but that's the best I could do with what I had.
Bruce, can you guys hear this? Can you hear them talking to this, Bruce?
Doug, he was quite soft, but the guy before him was perfect. So it's all about where the mic is.
Okay, Dave Curley, this is Pine Burl. This was taken off my property. It was a tree that had died, so I thought I'd make use of it. I'll talk about the pine needle aspect of it later in the demo, but I think I just have a little wipe on poly on this as far as finish.
Cool.
So these are a maple burl. It is part of a tree that I ended up with about 15 of these things. In fact, I actually have a piece that's on the raffle table over there. So it was really unique to work with, some really thick bark. And I really didn't quite use the same principles as Cindy did. I just tried to level it out as I started the whole roughing process. But it was really fun to work with.
So isn't that piece over there on the right?
Yep.
All right. Might have to get that.
Isn't it though? Yeah, we sold a couple of them down here.
All right, so that's all of the President's Challenge. So now for show and tell. Everybody get up and get in line. You can go to the picks page there and pick show and tell, the picks page on the bottom, show and tell. And this is also Doug's scarf. So we'll start him off online. And then Bruce, if you got more online, you'll have to let us know. And if you're online, raise your hand or somehow get a hold of Bruce, chat with him or something. Let him know that you've got show and tell. So here, let me do mine while I'm standing here with a mic on. I'll kick it off. A year ago, our first demonstration in the we were going to do it, Doug, online. Let's do the online first, and then I'll do ours. So, Doug, are you there? Can you tell us about your piece?
Yeah, this piece is a piece of ambrosia maple. It had very, very good figure. All of my finishes on Pepper Mills is Parfix 3408, and it's supposed to be a satin finish, but I've come up with a way of making it a high gloss. There should be 2 more Pepper Mills.
Next.
This one here is Bloodwood that I've did the Sorby spiraling tool. And the break for the top and bottom is just below the top spiral.
The last picture I couldn't open. It was like an HTIL, something I never heard of. So I couldn't open your third one. Sorry, Doug.
That's that new thing that Apple started. They automatically changed the format on the pictures on your phone, and they're not usable.
Yeah, you're right. They're not. But the first 2 worked. So okay. Did we have anybody else online, Bruce?
I've got something.
There's somebody with their hands up. Who's
Okay,
that?
let me know if you do, and we can get back with you. So now we can cut to our room here.
Somebody said something. Hang on. Who was it?
Hang on.
This is Rick. I got something.
Okay.
Let me spotlight him. There you go.
All right. Let me see if I can share screen here. Okay. Can you see that?
I can. I don't know if the room can.
Yep, we see it.
Okay. That's a monkey pod. It's an urn about 10 inches tall, 5.5 inches wide. And the little round ball on the finial or knob is ebonized walnut. And then the arch piece is a piece of monkey pod that I soaked in water overnight and then bent in a jig. And it's got ABS threaded lid, or it's a threaded lid with the ABS plastic threads. And there's the jig that I used to form and the arch piece. And then I had an order for a couple beer tap handles, so I made about 10 of them while I was gluing things up, and that's what these are.
Whoa.
That's all I got.
Sorry, Rick, we didn't mean to be laughing here. We're not laughing at you. I was,
Sure.
yeah. Okay. All right. We didn't give Rick a big hand for that. It's your job. Clap. Okay. Anybody else online there, Bruce?
Not that I see.
Okay. If they do, let us know. So, all right. So now we're going to cut to in-house here. A year ago, our first demonstration live was Emilio from Hawaii, the Maui woodturner, and he did a calabash for us for our live demonstration. And so this was the calabash I made after that, and I really screwed this up. If I had done it the other way around, I would have had all this to the bottom of it, but it all got wasted on the top half of the bowl. I didn't realize it. Oh, I'm sorry. All this here would have been in the bottom of the bowl had I flipped this over, and you would have seen it down here. But because I didn't flip it over, the bottom is just blah. So I didn't put a lot of thought into that when I made that. But anyways, there's my calabash. And then our second month, we had Greg Gallegos do a demonstration on texturing. And so this was what I made after I did the texturing. And this was one of the techniques that he showed us how to do. And to me, this is probably the finest piece I made last year. I was really, really happy with the way that turned out. So yeah, those were a couple of really nice demos that we had online last year. So next up, that's a lacquer finish on it. And I use trans dye to get the Diet Black. I'll just hold this.
Okay. So these are a couple square platters that I've done. It's just kind of unique in itself. If you see, it only started with a piece of 3/4 inch wood to start with. So I really used everything top to bottom, including the
Look
tenon.
at the camera. You're not.
Camera. Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're.
Including the camera.
Yeah, put it down here. Just
Thank
hold
you.
it down there. Yeah, there you go.
So this is a piece of curly mango that has a lot of wormholes in it. And this other one here was a piece of burl that I had kicking around for about 4 years and didn't know what to do with it because the edge was just on one side. And after Phil,
Put it.
and after, yeah, this is weird. After we did the Phil,
Phil Irons
demo, I figured that when he kind of went over how to do the square platter with some of that, I figured that was a good piece to incorporate that weird burl that I hadn't found anything for. So, all right.
Nice.
So if you're gonna hold your piece, hold it right above the turntable, okay? For the rest of you guys, because this camera's right there.
Okay.
Yeah, so the camera's coming from right there. So if you hold it right in front of that, everybody will be able to see it.
Thank you.
All right. Did you get your tickets? Hey.
That's yours. That's yours.
Oh, okay.
This is the top of that other burl. I didn't put it in the challenge because the other one was, I got centered out and stuff. This, I just wanted to turn to see what it looked like with a finish on it. It's got one coat of lacquer on it, but I wanted to see what the edges look like to decide if I wanted to turn that other one black before I finished it. But that's got one coat of lacquer on it, and that's the same burl, red gum burl. This is a piece of walnut burl. I wasn't gonna bring that in because that wasn't done. I sanded the first coat of finish off with steel wool, and I thought, oh, what the heck, I'll bring it in. But it was just a nice piece of walnut burl, and it looked nice. It's got a lot going on with it.
Nice, really nice, John.
So I like segmented bowls, even though I have made a few of like those, but not very well. And I also like plywood. So I actually call this bowl, what the hell is that? You know? What I like about the plywood is that on the outside, there's a different pattern than on the inside, depending on how you cut it. And I don't know if you can see the bottom, but the bottom has, those are actually pen blanks. that I just stacked together and made bottoms out of them, so. Anyway, I like plywood, I like making segmented bowls and what the hell? That's it, thanks.
Did he give it to you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Somebody put it on the line.
Oh, yeah, on the other side, all right.
This is a piece of white oak crotch piece, and I used the crotch as a feather on a hollow form. This piece was heavily sandblasted. I probably cannot see the texture in that. And it was a tremendous amount of fun. I have more of that I'm gonna texture. I just love the way it comes out, so.
Yeah, you can see the texture really good. Cool. Nice.
You can put it in a raffle table or something that you can't live without. Names, that was Ron Campbell.
Yeah, Ron Campbell, sorry.
Yep. State your name and then tell us about your piece.
Hi, Ron Vincent. Those are small vases. They actually have a plastic tube inside that you can use water for single or double flower. You can get them on Amazon real cheap. And it's just some maple. I did some coloring and texturing on it just to, give me something to do. This is a small, almost a birdhouse. It actually isn't. It is a toothpick holder.
Cool.
It was some maple that I got from Ron Dibble.
My name is Carol Moberg, and this is Canary. Thank you. This is Canary Wood, and I have 2 coats of sander sealer on it, and then Mylan, and then 4 coats of the polish, Mylan polish on it. It's for my nephew. He just got married, so for him. And I have a problem. I don't know if anybody else does, but when I put my polish on, I get the lines. Oh, I'm sorry. I get the lines in the bottom of it. You can get it out with some steel wool. Thank you. Steel wool, but I don't know why I get them, if it's what I'm doing, if I'm putting too much polish. No, I know, I got them out with the, I don't know if it's from the polish or when
Hey,
I'm.
Doug, we can't hear him.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. I said I don't know if I get the lines in the base, if I'm turning it or if I'm putting the polish on, too much polish maybe. That's cloth. Yeah, yeah, and they're hard to get out. Okay, thank you. Yes.
Buffers that you can put on your grill. Put some of that on there because maybe then if you use that to apply it, you'd have little swirls and it would actually, and that would also create some heat and smooth out.
That's a great segue for next month, where we're going to talk about the finishes, and we're going to talk about polishing. Yeah. Good point. That's our next month's demonstration. We finishes. Tom's going to do Beal buffing system with the Grand Rapids grit. And then I'm going to do a wipe on that I've been using.
Hi, I'm Lori Luchuk. I'm really still new, So this is what I did after Ron's wood turning retreat, and this is me still learning how to use my tools. I used both Ron's.
We can't hear him, Doug.
Okay, I used both Ron's new tool, and I am learning how to use a bowl gouge. So this is my attempt with both of those.
George, it's so nice to see you again after 18 months. You haven't aged a bit. I know I could. I don't get down that way very often, but I was down there once and I almost swung by and see if you were home.
George Armstrong, and the piece is aromatic cedar, and it's just kind of a plain bowl. I did put some wood hardener on it to help stabilize it. It's having a little trouble with turning it and getting some tear out on it. So, but it came out all right. What amazed me is it kind of
Right.
looked a lot like that canary wood she had. Yeah. On that other bowl.
Oh, yeah.
Looks a lot like that.
Okay.
Now there's a couple of pictures of a project I've got going right now in the shop. I don't know whether you can see them on the.
Tell us about it. What is it?
It's a lathe. The headstock and the tailstock were made in about late 1800s, early 1900s. It was originally line shaft driven, and you used to be able to buy these, just the casting part of it, and make your own lathe. And this one I jacked it up, so it's got a 42-inch swing on it right now.
Is it pretty stable?
Yeah, it is heavy. The bed is laminated 2x12 white oak planks. The two of them laminated together for each side of the bed, and they're heavy. I used a cherry picker to pick it up.
All right.
Dave Curley again. This is like 3 different mediums in one piece. The pine needle stuff I'll be talking about. There was a natural edged. I can't remember actually what wood it was before I started it, but in Ron's retreat, I took an encaustic class with Cheryl Lewis, and so the bowl is it's basically a wax fusion process. So that's the piece. So.
Next time I don't want to follow Dave Curley, so. Let me show the inside first. This is a piece of identified, this comes out of Florida, where I winter. It's a hackberry. That tree came down in February. I cut it in pieces and brought it home and sealed it, brought it home in April. By the time I got to it, probably in May, it had already turned from a complete white to those colors. It was amazing. I've got a couple more pieces I'm working on now. If my wife doesn't give them away before I get back home, so. But it turned out, just a simple bold design, and I was just fascinated by the coloring on it. And they say it was completely white. It's called hackberry. I don't know if it grows around here, so.
Very nice.
Then one more. Let me show the inside first. You can see the warping. I may have showed this already, but that's a piece of mulberry that came down last year at my house. Actually, I took it down, and I just quickly took a piece green, turned it down, set it on the bench, came back home from Florida, and that's what happened. It completely perfectly warped.
You can really see it on this.
You see it? It's just, I finished it down a little bit more. In fact, you can see a little spot where there was some bark left. I just left it in there. I couldn't do anything with it because it was already been warped. Threw some white pine poly on it, boom, that's what I ended up with. So it was pretty cool. Thank you.
Everybody, Ken Wind. That's a chunk of, I think they call the begonia and rosewood. I don't even know where begonia is. anyhow, it was a block of wood, and I made a pepper mill out of it with a CA pin finish on it.
Cool.
Good.
Can't find your piece?
Terry Leafers basically brought this to show that you can learn other things at the Ron Campbell's wood turning retreat besides turning things. That's gonna fall off.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought that was attached.
No, that's polymer clay that they had a class on making that. So I incorporated that into a lidded box.
Is that a red cedar? Red cedar?
Correct.
All right.
Nice, very nice.
Very nice.
So this is the other part of the burl. Just turned it down and this is what I came up with. It looks good so far.
What kind of burl is that?
I think it's oak burl. I'm not 100%. It was just something that I picked up.
Very nice.
Working on finish.
Okay. All right, Bruce, do you have anything online?
We have nobody online that has something to share.
Okay. For next month, we're going to highly encourage everybody who is not going to attend the meeting to send us pictures of your stuff. I always send out an email. Well, this month I didn't. We kind of had a crazy week. But normally I'll send out an email that says if you have pictures for show and tell for the President's Challenge, and I'll have my email address to send them to. Next month, if you're online, we'd really like you to send us your pictures so you don't have to share screen. We get a much clearer resolution here doing them this way. So that'll be going forward, but we'll send out an email to remind everybody of that. There was something else I just was thinking of. Yeah. Oh, we did get, after our demonstration last month, Cindy Drozda sent us the piece. Is it the one she was working on? We have that. John Singleton has it. He's going to bring it next month, and we're going to probably auction that thing off or raffle it off. We'll bring it next month and do an auction on it, and so somebody can have that piece from her demonstration. Unfortunately, she did not allow recording, so we have no recording of that. But it was very informative. There was a ton of information there. I was taking all kinds of notes during her demonstration, and unfortunately, I haven't had a chance to turn in the last month. So, but maybe next month I'll turn something from her demonstration. So I think right now we're going to take a quick break. Everybody can use the restroom, get some coffee and donuts, and we'll do the raffle table, and then we'll come back and do Dave Curley's demonstration on his pine weave bowls. So. Bear with us, everybody, and we'll be back in, we're trying to make it 15 minutes. Right now it's 10:02, so